All right, guys. I hope everybody is ready to complain. I hope everybody is ready to be mad because I believe that the NFL has gone and done it. They have decided to just go ahead and stick it to the Seattle Seahawks in more ways than one. In more ways than one. And I know that there are going to be some people in the comments who say, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect anything. I know there are going to be some people who say, well, Dan Campbell said, and I'll talk about that, but you can't convince me that this doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm not happy, and you guys are going to hear about it. The NFL has released their schedule. I thought they were doing it tonight. I don't know why they wouldn't wait for the end of tonight's game to do it at the very least, to see what happens with the Bengals, because that affects things. But they've decided to go ahead and put their cards on the table now. And yeah, this is not what I wanted. This is not what we needed. And I think we very, very, very much have a grievance with the way the NFL has decided to do this. Obviously, we are here of our own volition. We are here because we went 1-5 during an important stretch of the season against some bad teams. But we are still here. And we are here looking at a situation where the NFL has done everything in their power to make sure the Packers have the best possible path to the postseason. The Seattle Seahawks, their time of kickoff has been announced. It is 4:25 p.m. Eastern, which means it will be kicking off at about 1:30 my time, Pacific time, Seattle time. And that's fine. But what's not fine is that the Lions game against the Packers does not kick off until about 4 hours later. Meaning that by the time the Lions-Packers game starts, the Lions are going to know if they've been eliminated or not. If the Seahawks win, the Lions are done. So, the NFL has made sure to maximize the opportunity for the Lions to have that big mental letdown right before kickoff where they know their chances of making the playoffs have gone out the window. So you can't tell me that doesn't affect things. You can't tell me that isn't a competitive advantage for the Packers. Yeah, I'm not happy about this, and I don't think any Seahawks fan should be. Now, Dan Campbell's already come out and said he's not going to let the Lions lie down, but there are 53 players on that team. Some of those players are going to be mentally affected by the knowledge that they have been eliminated. And we need them to be eliminated for Seattle to still be alive, because if Seattle loses, then of course it's over anyway. So yeah, this is not what we needed. Lions-Packers flex to Sunday Night Football. I think it's horse crap. The NFL really never does anything like this. They typically do everything in their power to make sure every team has to play hard in the last week. They try to hide the knowledge of whether or not their season is going to already be set in stone. So, yeah, I do not care for this. Now, people are going to say, oh, it doesn't really matter that much. The Lions haven't won in Green Bay in literally 30 years. Literally over 30 years. But you know what? I like that Lions team. And I think that Lions team with some motivation had a real chance. Now, it's hard for me to feel good about it. So, yeah, not happy. Not happy about that one at all. Now, there are a couple other things going on here. They also scheduled the Vikings-Bears for 10 a.m. And the Niners-Cardinals is 4:25. So the Vikings, while they can reasonably assume that the Niners are going to win, they won't know. So the Vikings are going to be motivated to play hard just in case they have a chance at the 2 seed. I mean, the Niners have Brock Purdy. You never know what they could do, even against a terrible team like the Cardinals. So that may force the Vikings to play their starters the full game to make sure they win. Or at the very least, play them enough to make sure they get the win. Which, on the one hand, that's what I'm talking about. You want to make sure that the Vikings have motivation to play hard in that game. But on the other hand, I kind of would have preferred the Vikings to maybe already know, just on a personal level, that they're locked into the 3 seed, so maybe they give the Bears a free win, and that helps the Seahawks draft pick. So you can see that on both sides, the Seahawks are not getting any favors from the NFL here. The one area where we did potentially, and this is just potentially, as you can see, the Ravens-Bengals game could go either way. They have it, if you zoom in here, 1 p.m. or 4:25. They haven't decided yet. If they put it at 1 p.m. and the Bengals win, or excuse me, 1 p.m. Eastern and the Bengals win, the Chargers will have nothing to play for in the Week 18 game. They may rest starters and give the Broncos a free win. Now, if the Ravens-Bengals kicks off at 4:25, that's fine. Then the Chargers will be motivated to play hard for at least a good chunk of the game until they know the Ravens have lost. But that remains to be seen. What will the NFL actually do there? What is the decision point for this game being early or late? Presumably, it's what happens tonight. So, you see how it is. You see how it is. I'm not happy. I don't think any Seahawks fan should be happy. This is a bunch of BS. The NFL typically never does anything like this. The NFL typically tries to keep things as competitive and as intriguing as possible going into Week 18. And here we have a classic example of them just making sure that Green Bay gets every advantage. And I'll say it again. Dan Campbell can say whatever he wants to say about how, oh, we're going to try hard. We're not lying down. You can't tell me that the players on that team aren't going to have the air go out of the balloon knowing that they've been eliminated before kickoff, if that's indeed what happens. Now, I will say this. For this to matter at all, the Seahawks need to win their game. If they don't win their game, then there's nothing to talk about because that game doesn't mean anything for us anymore either. But if the Seahawks win and the Packers win on Sunday Night Football, that's going to be a very obnoxious offseason we head into. I'm going to put it like that. I remain very much convinced it's going to affect the game. I'm very much convinced that it has a negative effect on the Lions' ability to put effort out there. And all I can say at this point is that the NFL wants Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, and they don't care how obvious it is. So, I mean, we kind of went through this last year, and I really pushed back against it when people were upset about this last year when they let the Rams-Seahawks game get delayed when COVID hit the Rams locker room really hard. Like, some Seahawks fans were really unhappy about that, and I pushed back on that. I thought, it wouldn't be fair to the Rams. I didn't think it was fair for the Rams to have to play a game with all those players out to COVID. Traditionally, that year, the NFL had done what they could to delay games so COVID didn't affect anybody's roster drastically. So I didn't have a big problem with that. That I understood. This is just BS. Honestly, I think this is a pretty compelling argument that maybe Week 18 shouldn't even have Sunday Night Football. Try to play everybody at once like the way the MLB does. But this is the hand we've been dealt. 1:25 p.m. rolls around. We got to beat the Rams. And then we got to watch to see if the NFL's attempt to make sure Green Bay gets into the playoffs succeeds. It is what it is, people. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Go Hawks. And the road just got a little bit tougher. And unlike a situation where maybe the Seahawks were, playing in the game, there's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is watch. All right. Let me know what you guys think. I think a lot of people are going to be unhappy. I think you should be unhappy. This is a bunch of BS.